elbows to the head, one knee in the clinch. So one hand, Vandenis is watching, the hand touches there and there, one knee and you break. Well, let's work out the clinches as well.
So Dean, we move on at 80 kilograms. This one featuring two excellent fighters from two fantastic gyms. In this case, fighting out of the red corner, Zeith from Unique Kickboxing. His opponent, Vandenis Ugnius from BST Northampton in the blue.
Big head kick there from Vandenis off the bat.
And Zeith is a dynamic striker in his own right, but the heavy power perhaps putting him off from that flashy movement he's known for from Vandenis. Man, big right hook from Vandenis Ugnius.
Zeith comes in with a big left hook there. He's eating some heavy shots. He really needs to circle out and find his distance.
And Zeith unable to escape the reach and power so far from Ugnius. And Zeith looking for those wheel kicks. He's very, very adept in those flashy, dynamic kicking styles. But, man, Vandenis just putting him through the ropes and paces so far, Dean.
Vandenis just got some definite power, but Zeith senses this. He's doing a good job of ducking some of the shots and coming in with his own shots.
And Zeith trying to grab control here. I mean, you're looking, ladies and gentlemen, at an ISKA English champion. He's an IKF Southern Area champion. He's won tournaments before. He's a guy who knows how to win and knows how to go the distance in doing so, Dean. But so far, not really having any luck of being able to get the distance, and as you said, the mobility that usually is his trademark.
I think Zeith really needs to distinguish his game plan here. He doesn't want to tire himself out. Both guys are already breathing heavy. He needs to use that taekwondo and that kickboxing background that he has and almost point score, Chris. He's got to conserve his energy. He's got some more fights this evening.
And the pace being pushed by the performance thus far of Vandenis on target. Certainly confident, displaying that killer instinct.
Really impressed with Zeith's head movement here. He senses when one's going to come exactly there and he circles out and lands his own shot, which is good. Now he needs to do that and come out of the danger zone, come back in, come back out. Really solidify those points and win the rounds.
Man, both guys looking great physical shape though. I know both have been training so hard for this fight. Strength and conditioning program. That regime of conditioning may become a factor here as we move on because both fighters, as you said, Dean, in what has been a bit of a brawl.
I've noticed, actually, I said to you previously, that Zeith looks bigger than we've seen him in other organisations fighting. He looks bigger in this instance, which means more power, but it also can mean more lactic acid. You get tired quicker.
And I know Zeith has actually gone here at 80. It's what he normally walks around at. Sometimes you'll see him cut lower to 72, 73. But obviously for this fight, they wanted to make sure that he was able to not cut too much weight. So an interesting matchup so far. It's Contenders, East Anglia. We move on into round 2 of this matchup here in the Ultimate Contender K1 tournament. There we go. That is the stuff that Zeith's known for. Beautiful, going to the body and then to the legs, and then moves away. Needs to keep occupying the space in this ring, though, Dean.
I think that his corner definitely said that to him. He needs to think about his breathing, recovering, also landed decisive shots. Nice body kick there by Zeith.
And I like how he alternates, going right across the head and then left kick to the body. But as you said, not getting caught up in the corners. Needs to keep using the mobility to find open space and not get cut off and tailor his combinations to do so.
That's true, and coupled with good head movement there. See, he puts in some nice kicks, stays in the pocket, moves his head brilliantly there.
And needs to pour on the volume onto his opponent. I feel like if you allow Vandenis to get on you like he did in round 1, it could be good night, Irene. There we go. Look at the way he goes to the body, then back upstairs. 7, 8, 9 punches.
Shots.
No reply at all from Ugnius.
Vandenis here breathing heavy. He always sticks his tongue out. Now that's a telltale sign somebody could be either tired or a dog wants a drink, and I'm saying this guy's tired, Chris.
And you can look at the work rate of Zeith as testament to that. But
nice body kick on the outside there by Zeith.
And another tongue stick. And a much better round so far for Zeith. Good snap and extension on his strikes, but look at that. Tongue back out, axe kick attempt from Moan. Man.
This could have been a game plan for Zeith here. He's used his footwork, his extension, his punches in the first round to tire his opponent out, which is evidently tight. He's coming there. Vandenis has got his arms down as he comes, and he really needs to watch out.
And as you said, with 1,000 pounds on the line tonight, you've got to have long-term strategy. You've got to have short-term strategy to win this fight. You also got to think about how it's going to materialize all the way through the night. So that's going to have an effect on fighters, and for sure the corners and the preparation and training they've had, Dean.
Almost certainly. Vandenis there coming through with some shots. He's still got power in those shots, still a bit of venom there. Landing some significant strikes, but he is evidently tired in his last rounds.
And you might wonder whether or not Vandenis is going to try and play possum. Zeith staying busy, like you said, using good defensive head movement, and more importantly, putting on a pace that Vandenis couldn't quite keep up with, but maybe Vandenis is setting traps. Who knows what's going to happen? Let's see how it continues here. Moving on. What a fantastic fight. So, round 3 of 3, and under this rule set, there must be a decision. Could be 1 round apiece. And the big question for me is, who's going to be able to find the better positions here, Dean?
Thus far, I think Zeith is illustrating he could use his position more advantageous. What I mean by that, he moves out of the way of damage and inflicts his own damage. As Zeith goes up top there and gets out the pocket. I think Vandenis is tired here. He's walking with his hands down. He's walking a bit more slumpy. He's not as aggressive as he was in the opening rounds.
But we do know that Vandenis has got that proficient power. And, you know, he's done it in round 1. He could easily do it in round 3 and put Zeith Moen into a bit of trouble. So he's got the archetype to create a win here, I feel.
I think Vandenis is going to have success when Zeith comes in with his head down, which he sometimes does. He needs to alleviate with up the head of Zeith with the uppercut and perhaps a left hook right hand.
But there is definitely an aura of, oh, that's the one, Dean. There was an aura of how long is it going to be before he goes for that power shot, and that was it. You could see him showing that movement, keeping a nice tight guard, and then boom, right uppercut. That was his best shot so far. But Zeith replying with 6, 7, 8 strikes. You know, the judges are going to see that, and they're probably going to score the volume in favor of 1 strike.
That's true. Whoever's going to hit the more looks like they're hitting the best, but that, in essence, it could be tactics to make your opponent tired. But I think in this later round, these guys really need to pull forward, pull out the stops, and land some decisive shots. Some good uppercuts there from Vandenis. I'd like to see him put more strategic combinations on the end of it. Nice left hook there as he comes in again. Zeith puts his head down, moves off perfectly, and lands his body kick of his own.
And Vandenis turned away from that one. That left body kick just really ripping home to the breadbasket. And Zeith just pouring it on here, man. These guys are dicing it out in the blender right there in the corner in front of us.
Zeith wins there. I don't know if that was frustration where he took an injury to the body there. I couldn't quite see if Vandenis managed to.
Man, big shots from Zeith Moen here. And on the home run, a couple of seconds left to go. What a fight.
Wow.
And, you know, Vandenis came out there and really asked questions of Zeith Moen in round 1, but Zeith replying in spades in round 2 and 3, Dean.
I think Zeith definitely found his opponent wasn't impossible to measure. He came out with an answer. The first round, he got swarmed a little bit, feeling out, made his opponent tired, and he came back with some decisive shots, excellent footwork, moved off the center, commanded the ring, and ultimately, possibly got a decision over the more tired opponent.
But with a unanimous victory, moving on to the semi-finals, from the red corner, Zeith Moen! Big round of applause for Vandenis, please.